I got lots of planes going overhead, because it's that time of day when the airport is just slamming, man. I mean, it's just going and going and going. So anyway, I guess what I'm saying is, like, I've had some really good customers, and I got a lot of really good customers. I met a lot of cool people. One thing I say is everybody that comes over here wants to be my best friend. And it's weird. I guess it's that way for mechanics too. Because, you show up and you got a problem and you need somebody to help you figure it out. And, it can be very complicated. And, it's part of your entire life. So what do? You got to overcome those obstacles. It's weird. Like, God works in a certain way, and, like, some things just happen to naturally happen. Seems like a lot of times, like, when you're really struggling, you gotta let go of it. I guess I need to learn that a lot better. Is like, just let go and let God do whatever He's gonna do. I mean, one thing that's interesting is, like, how man, I'm looking at the camera and I mean, it is dirty. Wow. I don't know what I'm talking about this morning. I'm just, trying to figure out what I want to do. Had a guy call me, I don't know, last week, and it's another one of those are frantically in a rush, just gotta have it now kind of deal. And I'm just kind of over that. I really am, man. I like to work slow and methodical. And it's usually when some guy, like, this is really true, man. Like, if they're in a hurry, then that puts me in a hurry. And then I don't do something right, or it's not right. And so then I gotta back up 2 or 3 steps. This happens a lot, man, and it's me, I guess, but I'm trying to get it done for him, and it just doesn't work out, man. And I've kind of let go of that. Sometimes I've had some jobs that just don't work out, and I've had some where, like, my perception of the reality and their perception of the reality is completely opposite. But yeah, I have people that come over and they basically tell lies. And then I have a lot of people that, they tell the truth. So you gotta go case by case. You gotta just do that. I think a lot of these guys, like, working on these outboards, I bet there's a lot of them, man. I don't know, it's like they may get bad reputation with some people and good reputation with other people, and it's very, very, very weird deal. It's kind of a life deal where, like, you just got to go on with your getting on and not worry about what other people think, because you can't please everybody. We could never please everybody on those buses. And you'd have the band, and you'd have the crew, you have the bus driver. If the artist had his bus and his group of people, you're all traveling down the road together. But we were confined to really small spaces, so it wasn't like when you got done with your day, you couldn't just go home and see your family or whatever, and then you would just I don't know, man. You would just you'd have your alone time, so to speak, or it would be a way to, like, get outside of the noise, before you had to go back to the noise. On those tour buses, it wasn't like that, man. You were always with the same people, day in, day out, hour by hour. And it just took 1 or 2 people, or even a few people, and then all of a sudden, it's not a good time anymore. It's like chaos. I saw all kinds of things over the years, like a lot of things, I just ignore them, man, because you can't do anything about it. What are you going to do? The only thing that you can do at a certain point, and people have seen this in their jobs, like if they work with somebody that's just like unruly or whatever, and you finally just, you get them out of there. You let go of them. Unfortunately, like in our government, they don't even, like, you can't even get rid of somebody, and it's kind of that way for professors as well. Like, you know, if they're not good people, then man, you can't get rid of them. I mean, they're just stuck there. You're stuck with them. Yeah. So anyway, but you know, we did that sometimes, man. We'd fire people, and that is some reason for like why the music business is the way it is. Like, especially on the touring front, it's like people don't get along. And I'll tell you this right now, like, I haven't heard from any of my touring people in like a year. So these, you know, it's like, it's kind of like that. Like, do you think that, I mean, I don't know, it's weird, man. I have a lot of good friends, and I don't fault them for not calling me or anything. I'm just saying, it's like, as friendship is, or people in general, like, I'm just hanging stuff up while I'm talking to you, but, you know, like, when you're really close to somebody, man, you hear from them. You hear from them a lot. Maybe sometimes too much. Maybe sometimes I call my family too much. But, yeah, it's kind of interesting I'm talking about all this, but yeah, so we would get rid of those people when they were real. Sometimes it was better for everybody because they would get out of there and they would leave behind all that negativity, and then they would go to somewhere new, you know, and then whatever they did, I don't know, you know, that's on them. Some people in town, they started to get like a reputation, and then once that happens, then nobody wanted to hire them. Because you were stuck on this bus, you know, at the end of the day, you had, like, you get up in the morning, you know, for, I don't know, I won't go the whole day, but, you know, you'd be with your crew, and then our musicians would be with the other musicians. A lot of them held together pretty good, you know, but there were times where, you know, they would separate. That's a terrible job. I mean, it's a terrible life. I know you want to do it when you're young. I would advise against it. Do something else, you know. Or if you're going to go do it for a year or two if you can. And then just don't do it after that. Just get your little taste of it and be like, we'll see you later. They don't pay anyway. They don't pay anybody anything to go out anyway. So, what am I doing today? I don't know. I'm going to make it up as I go, I guess. I called the guy. This guy, what I was talking about, this guy was like, he had a old Merc 550 horsepower. And then he was wanting a fuel pump. I happened to have a fuel pump. I sold it to him. Then he was talking about his lower unit and how it was... the seal underneath the pump was not sealing because the shaft was all kind of munked up, and they put a new seal in it, but it still was leaking oil. Like, he practically had to put oil in it almost every day. I don't know. And then I just happened to mention that I have a short shaft down in the shed, so I brought the short shaft up and was looking at it, and it's kind of the same way. I don't know if it's going to hold pressure or not. I did a pressure test on it, and it wasn't good. It was leaking out the same place. So then I took this off. Get a light. This is the thing. I've spent some time doing this yesterday when I could have been doing other things, because for right now, I'm not going to, you know, because I was like, I'm going to sell it. Hang on. I was like, I'm going to sell this. You know, it's a short shaft. Right? So, there's not many of them. And you can see where I got the black case, and I can't get it to go all the way down because it's got an O-ring and some seals. I'm almost positive that it's the same, although I may take it up today. Even was trying to figure out if I could like take a PVC and like press it down. I haven't figured that out yet, but I wanted to see if the guy even wants it, because it does kind of have the same problem as the other one. The only really answer to this is taking this shaft out, taking the drive shaft out, taking it to a machine shop where they can splatter weld it, and then they put it on a lathe, and then they make this the same diameter, get all the way down the shaft, and then that seal can seal. And yeah, I don't know, man. We could try to do something like that, but I'm just because I don't care, if I wanted to sell it. I thought about it's like, man, I'm just gonna sell it, because here's the thing, like, I got this other 50 horsepower power head down here, but I was gonna make a short shaft. It's still sitting under here, and I was gonna make this a short shaft, but the problem is, you can't get a switch box. So without the switch box, I mean, it's kind of useless. With that, and they don't make a power. So yeah, they don't make a power. All right, yeah. So they don't make a a power pack for that guy, unfortunately. So I can't really do anything with it unless I eventually get a hold of a 50 horsepower that I can get the switch box. At this point, though, man, unless it's just running, I'm not going to buy any of those, because, without being able to get that part, and then the distributors are bad at them, now they're just at a point where you just don't buy them. You just got to buy like in the 80s. Get the 80s motors with the stator, trigger, electronic. That's what you have to do. And I don't mind working on them, on these. That's what I started. And everybody, and they watched that 500 series rebuild a lot. And I'm like, okay, I gotta take the front plate off at some point, and that makes that easier for the top to come off and go away. I gotta clean the carbs anyway. So we got our circuit for our trim unit. So just to make it fast, because one usually is blue and then one is green. They're both green. So, but I just put one on this relay and two on this relay. So 1, 2, and then I label my wires 1, 2, and then we've got an energizer circuit. It's going to come over to this. So we'll need to take this off, and just to take note, we got looks like a I would say yellow black stripe on the bottom here, and then that's going over to this, it's yellow with a black stripe onto our harness. And so we need to take both of these out, just disconnect it. And we need to disconnect this too, because it's part of the harness. The harness little keeper is right here on this plate. So we need to just disconnect. It's disconnected, but we just need to move it out of the way. And then we need to disconnect this red wire on the bottom. So these are always hot, right? And then we'll need to label. Then we'll have a ground over here on these solenoids. So on these solenoids, you got a ground. Both sides will be ground. It's just going to there. And then we're going to have our signal wire, which like on this one, they're showing this is here, and this one's over here. Well, we can label those two 1 and 2. Alright, well, we've already ran into an obstacle. And that is that there should have been a couple wires that went over to the solenoids for up and down. And I don't see that. I pulled that harness back. I'm not seeing it at all. So this is just a ground that makes its way for this, for our motors. And we could put this back. Yeah, that sucks. Because that means I'm definitely going to have to go through this whole harness. I'm pretty sure that it's pinned for it, so I don't know why they had this. Also, they have this little PSI gauge that's broken. The glass is broken off of it. Who knows if it's leaking or if it works. So we're gonna have to take that off, and I don't like. I mean, these glass ones are cool because you can see whatever, but I don't really like those like the ones I get. Because then if you break this, taking it off, it's a real, it kind of sucks. Alright, well that gets that loose. That gets this over here. And then the only thing I need to do is I gotta get rid of this tie wrap over here. And then I can start taking this dude apart. Alright, we progressed. Got the front plate off. Got the back plate off. What we need to do now is take the flywheel nut off. Yeah, I got it. Little magnet gets that off. Flywheel nuts off. And I've got my flywheel removal tool. I'm gonna have this little guy in there. At least I like to put it in there. So mess up my flywheel nut. On my flywheel crankshaft dealio, kind of whatever. Can you see me? Since I made my stand like, you know, as high as the Trump Tower. Anyway, that's good. Yeah, I knew I was going to do that. I guess it's better than this thing falling. Better than this thing falling right here. And she's off. If you can't tell, I moved the stand back. Because I'm going to have to take up this. I'll have to take up my nice little ramp I made. I'm going to have to get rid of it so I can jack the garage up. I like to inspect these two just to make sure this is still good, which it is. The magnet's not torn up or anything. And we know this is screwed in magnets or bolt, I don't know, bolt screwed in. They're not glued on, so they're bolted on. So when you're looking up your stator, you're going to look for that. And that gets the stator exposed. I don't think there's anything wrong with this stator, but it is old. We don't know how old it is. He's restoring this, so we're just going to get a new stator for it. Alright, that gives us lots of room. I don't think we need to take the starter out. We will have to address like the linkage for the, see it up there, that linkage for the trigger. It's way up yonder. You see what I'm talking about? You see me pointing at it? Just underneath the stator. It's way up there, man. See it? See it from there? It goes, there's the arm. Goes around to this little circular deal. Right? That goes over to our throttle. You know, where we got some places we can adjust things. See, like later on when we go adjust our timing, we can do it here. It's probably our, yeah, that's going to be our idle stop screw, and these are going to be like primary, secondary pickup, I guess. And then this would be our wide open. Anyway, yeah, don't you know? It's gonna need some new, all new hose. And I didn't put that in the bed. Anyway, yeah, I got carbs kits for these. I'll go ahead and clean them. You know, get them looking nice and good. But right now we got to get that stator off, so you won't be able to see this. So I don't know, man. All right, well, there's the stator, and here's the trigger. There's a little bolt up underneath there. Got to take that off. Just don't lose your little fiber bushing there. And we could test it, but I'm not going to. You're just going to take my word for it. You can look at this one. If I get it out. It's pretty frayed. This probably has lots of hours on it. Just going to replace them. When I took this off, sometimes these grounds and they get them, they're not great. So, let me put a bolt there. Go ahead and tap it. So I don't like that. Even though that's not a problem. Anyway, now we got that all off. Probably go ahead and pull the starter. Because I need to get to the top bolt on the top carburetor. And you can do a couple things. You could pull this piece, but then you still, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can get them out of there. Yeah, I think I probably can. But 1, 2, 3, and then, you know, our input's over. Where's our input? Coming out of our fuel pump. Looks like we're going out of here into the fuel rail. It's going into this carburetor, that carburetor, and this carburetor. So we do a bunch of different things, but I think we'll just disconnect it from here because we're going to replace the lines and we're going to have to put another pump on it. Yeah, I've got our work cut out. Not a big deal. They are dirty. I'll clean them up. They'll look really nice. but they did it number here too. Trying to get this out. This one doesn't really need to come out, but if you can get this one on the side out without stabbing yourself, that'll help the cause. And then I'll just leave that jet in there, and that'll clean it just fine. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't look terrible. And you can leave this one in. That's just going to go up through this Venturi deal here. We do need to get this little check valve off. And this is a little check valve, I think. Not sure. Anyway, that's pretty much. Now we do have this one that goes down this way, so if you can get that one out, that's good. And then I'll do that for all of them. And that's basically it. Yeah, that's basically it for that. Now we do want to address this, so I'm going to punch these out and get the needle out of there. I mean, that's not, yeah, like that needle's not even moving. See, because it, now it is. And it's closing. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see this. Probably not. But down in the bottom of there is just really a lot of crap. And then if you look on here, and then, like I said, it probably will not show up. I'm sure of it. You can't see it too much in that jet, but we're able to get, so get out what screws you can. If you look down in there, man, there's a whole glob of something. So I may just pre-clean this a little bit, put some carb clean in this, because we need to get that cleaned out. It's bad. I mean, it's real bad. You can even see, like up in here, how dirty it was or is. And that little Venturi, I guarantee you that is clogged all the way down there where that is. We'll see. I got more carbs if I have to. But that gets them kind of broken down, and then, you know, anyway, you get the idea. You guys get the idea. Alright, you guys. I was putting my cars back on. I cleaned them and ultrasonically cleaned them, and doing the fuel line. This fuel line, you can get this as prime line at the auto parts stores. The thing is, you don't have a whole lot of room to get. So like if you buy more modern fuel line, you're gonna find that, like, the way they made this, there's not a lot of room. Anyway, we got those. This is kind of a, you can see I got these just to cover, but this is like the original ones they had. They've been using these for a while, so like 850s and stuff, 650s, they had like this design, and then they had that little screen that went over the front of it, which basically does nothing. But they had the automatic choke. Of course, this has got a primer solenoid, But what I guess I wanted to show you guys was they use these economizer, these little rubber things. I mean, they're like a little rubber hose. And some kind of, I don't know if they just closed it off. That's what it looks like to me. They just put a BB in there, closed them off. Of course, these are all cracking and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is just take them off, get rid of them, and then the old 650s, they had like 850s, they had a piece of hose, inline 6s had a hose, went from here to here. So I've got some more of that line in there. I haven't pulled it out yet, but anyway, I'm just going to get rid of these and just throw them away and put some line over there. And 1.5 out on the air idle screws. And what else? Oh, just check and make sure your throttles are open and closing like they should. That'll be your primary pickup, secondary pickup. I'm not gonna mess with the timing because I'm hoping that this will all be good. This seems to be pretty good shape, but then what is it here? Because I may have to adjust this, which they don't throw this off. So anyway, also they had this stupid like PSI gauge. So I'm gonna get rid of that, which goes to the fuel pump. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take out the fuel fitting. It's down there, which is sort of underneath the solenoid. So I'm going to have to take that out of the way because I got to replace this line. It's from here up to here. Of course, there's 3As. There's 3As coming out, looks like, going into a 5/16. So that's kind of, so I couldn't use the old fuel filter that they had, so I'm going to have to get another fuel filter. And this line's still pretty good, so I'm thinking of just get a new fuel filter that's a 5/16 and clamp this down real good. But this is all 5/16 fittings, 5/16 line, and this should have been like 5/16 unless they just, I don't know what they did. So I may replace all of that. Probably will. So it's all fuel line. I mean, this fuel line doesn't look bad. It's not like, it's still really pliable, so try to save on stuff if I can. This line I'll replace. So there's lots to do on this yet, you know. Take your time because it's going to be, you're going to need to. Alright, these are these little economizer tubes. To me it seems like it's just got a BB in it and they blocked it off and then they just used that one side of the carb. I don't know. I don't have a clue. I mean, when you're doing this, you're redoing the whole system. So I just got a piece of hose, 1/8 inch I guess, over to the other side of the, this is your top side, you know, your fuel bowl, because these are top mount. So we got the needle and seat is in here, and then the float is in here. But yeah, you just run the wire over there. I know the old inline 6s was like this, and then they had the 850s, 650s. They had that happening. Maybe not the 650, but I seen 850s. Anyway, that's what I'm doing because I don't know. You know, maybe they figured out, well, if we just put that economizer, it'll block it off. But then why do we have that open? I don't know. Anyway, that's the way I'm going to do it. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it acts. Hey, I was getting ready to put the new trigger on the Mercury 115. And I thought, well, I'll do a short video, make some notes. This is the new one, and this is the old one. And why I'm making this video? Well, just be careful, like on these where, see, this is like it has a plastic. They used to have like a little metal insert, like a zert was in there, but now they don't have that, or at least I don't know. I didn't look real close, but when you're putting it in, you got plastic, so when you're taking this screw right here and you're putting it into the plastic, just make sure you go, like you don't strip that out, and then make sure you blow out, because you're gonna get a little bit of plastic shavings. Just kind of blow that out, and then that'll keep it from stripping on you, because the last thing you want to do is, that's an expensive part. I mean, I don't know, $50, so like, you don't want to strip this out. And that's really all you got to do. And the other thing that I was going to let you guys know, if you look, this has short leads and this has long leads. So this is going to go to your top power pack, while this will go to your bottom power pack. And I'm not even sure that if they even show that in the wiring. But that's how that goes. Top power pack, bottom power pack. Thanks for watching.